My friend, my dear soul, I see you. I feel you. I know that heaviness, that dull ache of anxiety that sometimes squeezes your heart like an invisible vice. Does that feeling resonate? That sense that your inner world is a raging sea, where waves of emotion crash one after another, and you, like a small boat, are desperately fighting not to go under. How many times have you promised yourself, starting tomorrow, everything will be different. I'll be calmer, kinder, stronger. But day follows day, and the inner storms don't subside. Anger flares up like a match. Resentment gnaws away like a worm. Fear paralyzes your will, and fleeting desires lead you further and further from who you truly want to be. You look at yourself in the mirror and ask, is this really me? Am I doomed to this endless battle with myself? We've been conditioned to think of our passions, these intense emotional states, as enemies to be conquered, destroyed, ripped out by the roots. We've been taught they're dark forces to be suppressed, controlled, kept on a tight leash. And oh, how we fight. We build barricades, set up watchtowers, and charge headfirst at every negative thought, every unwanted feeling. But what's the result? So often, this struggle only exhausts us, leaving us more tense and unhappy. These passions, like a many-headed hydra, sprout two new heads for every one we manage to sever. Have you noticed this? This paradox where the more effort you put into suppression, the stronger the inner pressure becomes, the more frequent the meltdowns? It's like trying to hold an inflatable ball underwater. It's bound to burst to the surface, perhaps with even greater force. But what if I told you there's another way? A path not so much of fighting, but of wise understanding and transformation. What if these so-called passions aren't enemies at all, but rather misdirected, lost parts of our own energy, our life force? What if they are signals pointing to deeply hidden needs, unhealed wounds, or false beliefs we've mistaken for truth? The profound truth, my friend, is that true power lies not in suppression, but in conscious awareness and wise direction. The secret isn't to declare war on every inner demon, but to ignite your own inner light so brightly that the shadows simply recede, finding no place to linger. Imagine a raging river. You could try to build a dam to stop its flow, but sooner or later, the water will find a weak spot, breach the barrier, and cause a flood. Or you could study its course, understand the power of its current, and channel its energy for constructive purposes. Build a mill to grind flour, or a power plant to generate light and warmth. It's precisely the same with our inner energies. Instead of blindly warring against them, let's learn to understand and transform them. And this, my friend, is where the most fascinating, most crucial turn on your journey to self-discovery begins. The very first step you must take on this path to inner freedom is to cast an honest, unflinching, yet love-filled gaze within. Journey with your awareness into your heart, as the ancient sages advise, not to judge or be frightened, but to explore. What thought, what feeling, what particular passion most often disturbs your peace? Which one feels the strongest, the most dominant, like a tyrant who has seized your inner throne? It might be anger that flares at the slightest provocation, or a melancholy that cloaks everything in a gray fog. Perhaps it's an insatiable thirst for approval, a fear of loneliness, or a secret envy. Don't be afraid to name it. Acknowledgement is already halfway to healing. It's like identifying the main adversary on the battlefield. You can't defeat an invisible enemy. So once you identify this primary passion of yours, direct your main attention, your intention for transformation, towards it. Imagine it as the loudest, most dissonant note in the symphony of your soul. This is where you must begin your work, so the entire orchestra can eventually play in harmony. Of course, if during this deep work another, more fleeting passion rears its head, a momentary irritation or a sudden craving, give it your attention, calm it with your breath and awareness, but then return to your primary task. For in any battle, it's vital to counter what's actively attacking you in the present moment, but never lose sight of the strategic objective. The second principle that will unlock the doors to self-mastery is the art of sacred preparation and instantaneous response. You know, my friend, so many of our emotional explosions happen because we're caught off guard. We're unprepared and the wave crashes over us. But what if you could prepare? Here's a practice, simple yet incredibly powerful. Every morning, before you dive into the hustle and bustle of the day, Dedicate a few moments to mentally rehearsing the events ahead. Envision potential encounters, conversations, situations, both pleasant ones and those that might trigger stress. What emotions might they stir within you? What old buttons might get pushed? And decide in advance how you want to respond. Not as you usually do, not on autopilot, but consciously, calmly, with dignity. It's like a warrior who studies the map of the terrain and plans their tactics before a battle. For example, you know you have a meeting with someone who often criticizes you. Instead of tensing up internally and bracing for defense or a counterattack, you can decide, today I will listen to their words calmly, like the sound of the wind. I will not let them pierce me. I will maintain my inner equilibrium. And when that meeting occurs, you'll no longer be caught by surprise. The wave of irritation, if it rises, will break against your inner rock of preparedness, rather than sweeping you away like a flimsy raft. Remember the words of the wise King David, "I prepared myself and I was not disturbed." There's immense power in this. But what if, despite all your preparation, an intense emotion still surges, suddenly like a gust of wind? What if you feel anger boiling up or a wave of desire washing over you? This is where an immediate, conscious response is crucial. Your very first move, don't let it erupt externally. Pause for a moment. Clench your fists if you need to, but do not utter angry words. Do not make sharp movements. Do not allow your face to contort. It's like hitting the pause button on your internal playback. Then immediately shift your attention inward, into your heart. Feel that fire, that energy, but don't identify with it. You are not your anger. You are the one observing the anger. And right there in that pause, begin to breathe deeply and turn your mind and heart towards something higher, towards whatever for you is a source of light and peace. This could be an image of the divine, a feeling of universal love, a memory of a moment of profound serenity, or simply a firm intention to preserve your humanity. Try with this higher light to displace, to dissolve the encroaching darkness of the passion. Imagine a golden light filling your heart, calming the storm. Perhaps in the most acute moment, you won't be able to do this perfectly, but your very effort, your intention, already changes everything. Do not let the passion control you. And as soon as the moment of tension passes, as soon as you are alone with yourself again, return to that feeling and strive to finally banish that viper, as the ancient fathers called it, from your heart. Drag it into the light of awareness, examine it, understand its root, and release it. And now we arrive at the third, perhaps the most profound key to transformation, addressing the very roots that feed these sudden storms. There are essentially two such global causes, our unhealthy attachments and our equally unhealthy aversions. That is, love and hate in their distorted, ego-driven forms. Think about it, my friend. If you are attached to a person, a thing, or an idea to the point of pain, to the point of losing yourself, then any threat to this object of your passion will trigger a storm within you. If someone criticizes what you idolize or tries to take away what you consider vital, you instantly flare up, suffer, and rage. Why? Because your identity, your peace, has become a hostage to this external object. Imagine you're clutching a burning coal. It's searing your hand, but you're afraid to drop it because it seems so precious. True freedom, however, comes when you unclench your fist. When your love becomes not a selfish possession, but a luminous feeling of gratitude and free giving. When you learn to love without clinging, to appreciate without becoming desperately attached. This is tremendous work, but it's rewarded with an incredible sense of lightness and peace. If you feel that a particular attachment is bringing you more suffering than joy, begin to gradually loosen its grip. Ask yourself, what's the absolute worst that could happen if I lost this? Would my life truly fall apart? Often we discover that our fears are far greater than the potential loss itself. It's the same with hatred, with aversion. If your heart harbors animosity towards a person or a phenomenon, then every encounter with the object of your dislike will trigger inner outrage, revulsion, a desire to destroy or flee. You become a slave to your hatred because it constantly keeps you in a state of tension, poisoning your soul. But what if you tried to look at it differently? What if even in someone you find disagreeable, you tried to see a spark of the divine design, After all, they too, like you, are created in a divine image. They too, like you, carry a spark of light, no matter how deeply it might be buried under layers of mistakes and imperfections. And they too, like you, are your brother or sister on this vast human journey. The wise teach us, do not harbor hatred for your brother in your heart. This doesn't mean you must approve of their actions or force yourself to love what feels alien to you. But it does mean you can rise above your personal dislike, see the situation more broadly, with greater love and compassion. Remember, as it is said, the Creator makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. Is this not the greatest example of all-encompassing love and acceptance? When you begin to practice such a perspective, your hatred gradually melts away like ice under the sun's rays, giving way to peace and even compassion. Imagine what a burden will fall from your shoulders when you no longer have to carry that poison within you. This is not an easy path, my friend. It demands courage, honesty, patience, and constant practice. There will be highs and lows, but every step taken on this path brings you closer to your true self, to that state of inner strength, clarity, and harmony for which you were born. Don't be afraid of your so-called passions. They are not enemies, but teachers if you are willing to learn. They are energy that can be channeled for creation, not destruction. They are signposts to those areas of your soul that need healing and light. Remember, you are not a helpless victim of your emotions. You are consciousness, capable of observing, choosing, and transforming. You are a spark of divine fire, capable of illuminating any darkness. Within you lies immense power, and the key to it is in your heart, in your awareness, in your tireless striving for the light. So, what will you choose today, right now? To continue the exhausting struggle or to embark on the path of wise transformation? Start small. Choose one thought, one habitual reaction that you want to change. Observe it, prepare for its appearance, meet it consciously, and slowly, step by step, you will begin to notice how your inner world changes. How calm replaces storms, peace replaces anxiety, and a deep, unshakable joy of being replaces the struggle. Reflect today. What passion most often steals your peace? To what or whom are you so strongly attached that the thought of loss brings panic? From what person or situation do you turn away with aversion? These are your growth points, your opportunities for profound inner transformation. This path is the path to true freedom, to deep inner peace, to the life you've always dreamed of. And I believe in you. I believe in your strength, in your wisdom, in your ability to blossom in all your beauty. Go forward, my soul, and may the light be with you. In our upcoming sessions, we'll dive even deeper and explore how to overcome the most common pitfalls and challenges of modern life, like procrastination, a crippling need for approval, the fear of failure, and many others. So you can, step by step, build a life filled with meaning, joy, and authentic freedom.